welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Immigrant Voices and Victories. We have been talking to Maryleen, who is a global talent coach. She's also a recipient of the Australia and the UK Global Talent. And today she's been giving us nuggets. She's been giving us guides, tips on how to put up the strongest application ever if you want to succeed in the global talent in the UK. And she's also one of founders of a company called Global Till, where they coach global talent recipients. And I'm sure she's going to be telling us more about it later in this video. This is the part 2 of the interview with Maryleen. If you haven't watched part 1, come on, go and watch it. In this second part, we'll be talking more on what are those things you need to consider to be able to put up a very, very strong application if you wanted to apply for the Global Talent Visa in the UK. So you're welcome back. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Like this video, share this video. The more you like the video, the more people YouTube will be recommending this video to. This video is here to inspire you. Is here for you to learn. So thank you very much, Maryleen. Welcome back again.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to ask, what are the key elements or the qualities you emphasize to your clients on building strong global talent visa application?
Yeah, key elements. So definitely one of them would be being able to communicate, that communication, being able to communicate your value, your worth, because what they really want to see is they want to attract the best and brightest, and they want to attract exceptional persons. They want to know that you're coming to contribute something to the country, to their economy. They're not going to sound beggarly, like I'm begging them, please, give me this visa, please give me the visa. Yeah. You don't sound that way in your application. You sound like I have something to offer. Yeah, I've earned it by the things I've done, and yes, it's going to be an opportunity to come to the country to contribute. So it's you look at it from that angle. What are the things that you've done, and how are you going to be an asset to the economy, not a liability? So that's why it's not a beggarly application where you're saying, please, I have this social family problem and I need to come. No. So that's one thing. The way it's you communicate who you are and come across as someone who is going to be an asset to the country really matters. So I think that's one of the key things, and most other things revolve around that. Even the way document is structured, like I said in part 1, that you have to think about the assessor as someone who might not even be in your field, someone who might not even be in the same area of expertise. So you need to communicate very clearly in a simple yet very really strong, put up a strong application that it's relatable, or it's quite clear to the person at the other end who you're never going to know who they would be. Yes, so just some points.
How can someone decide if they are a promising talent or an exceptional talent? Because I know people always have this issue like, okay, I want to put up this application, but where do I sit? I have this experience. Oh no, I don't know if I'm exceptional. I don't know if I'm promising.
Yeah. So the way they frame the exceptional talent, exceptional promise, it's really, it has nothing to really do with whether the person is exceptional or not. Both are exceptional, talent and promise, just to be able to distinguish maybe how many years someone has been in that particular career, in that field. So it might be that you have 20 years of experience career-wise, but let's use digital technology. You've only spent the last 4 years in tech. So you are an exceptional promise in digital technology, right? Regardless of the length of your experience, in your entire career. So, and they have guidelines. They have guidelines.
Mhm.
So you have to have a look and see where you fit, mostly by the
Mm.
length of your expertise in that sector. So that's what they check roughly. But that's, or there might be other things around that, but roughly it's around how, if you're an early career person in that field, then you're looking at exceptional promise. If you have more extensive length of experience, then you're looking at exceptional talent.
And I love what you said, like you can have 50 years of experience, but in a particular career, you don't have that set of skills for that number of years. So you will fall under the promise. So one thing again, people struggle with is where they sit between the technician and the research. It's quite a thin line, especially for those of you in that area.
Yeah, I mean it's possible to have someone who could fit in either,
Mm.
so yeah, you can have someone who they are doing research in AI, machine learning, or distributed computing, one of those areas aligned to digital technology, which is also a good thing. But yeah, it could create that, should I go for this or that? So you just have to
Mm.
then look at the criteria and see. Yeah, it really all depends on if you feel that the research route will be more beneficial, especially given other factors like, are you going to be working in that particular sector? So in research, they would require that at least you do some research along the line to prove that you've done work in that, because that's going to be a factor to your either extending the visa or getting your permanent residency. So those are some of the factors, and you're looking at maybe in terms of the length of all those other benefits as well. So is it going to take me 3 years or 5 years to get to permanent residency? Those are some variations. For example, a typical example is in the for the technician exceptional promise, you'd have to, it's 5 years to get to permanent residency, whereas if you had exceptional promise, going through the research route, is 3 years. So that's a typical example of some of the variations that you have to consider. But yeah, it's possible to actually have both skills, and you're considering which one. So these are some of the additional factors you have to think about to then decide which one to go for.
If you're going for the research, must you have a PhD?
Well, you're in a better position to answer that one.
I have
But
to
you
throw it
you
out
you
there.
must you must not have a PhD, but you need to
Yeah.
have research experience.
Yeah.
Most times equivalent research experience,
Yeah.
for the research routes. Yeah, yeah. So people from even industry, that you don't necessarily have to be in academia per se, or being like a typical university system. So
Mm.
just looking
Yeah.
at your equivalent research experience in
Yeah.
the field. Yeah.
Yeah, because recently someone got exceptional promise by just being under a UKRI grant. He got a job under UKRI as a manager, and then so the funding was there. She doesn't have any research experience. She didn't even believe she was going to get it. She was just like, "Oh, I meet all the criteria," which is what Marilyn has been saying about the criteria, the guideline. Sometimes those words can look very ambiguous, like you must be that, you must be this, but everyone is unique. And that person got themselves a global talent just because they were working under a grant. So
That's
different.
the thing. Don't we might not fit into the typical mold. So it's always good to check and really, see what is possible, and not say, okay, maybe I'm not Dr. Yemisi. I don't have a kind of profile, or I'm not
Yeah,
Marilyn, and I don't have a kind of profile, and maybe I'm not qualified.
yeah. And yeah, that's why you have a coach to always go to, isn't it? To help you sort your documents and all of that. So are there industries or sectors where the visa has particularly made profound effect, you think? Or has it been a normal distribution across all sectors in the UK?
Okay, the data that I've seen of recent has been around the distribution of countries, like which countries have
Okay.
higher applicants in. But in terms of, let's say, looking at the different endorsement body, because if you're talking about sector,
Mm,
yeah, I think I've seen some data, just maybe Tech Nation in particular, data around which sectors. What I even mean by sector is like within tech itself, you have fintech, you have agri-tech, you have like
mm.
sectors within digital technology, and the distribution of applicants, or it might also be roles or skill sets like AI, software engineering,
Oh, wow.
and so forth. So, but I can't remember off the top of my head the actual distribution, but you see some of this sort of data. And particularly for the other endorsement bodies, I've not actually seen published data around
Mm,
how it's distributed. I think one of the data I'll be keen to see is I know on average they receive 4,000 applications a year,
wow.
and yeah. So I would like to see the data around how, that distribution, that the
Yeah.
4,000, where you have those going to tech. I feel like Tech Nation has the highest
Yes, yes,
population of applicants, yeah,
yes,
compared to
they
the other
do.
endorsement body.
Yes. Yes, because when you check online, like you were saying earlier, you hardly find anything except Tech Nation. It's like every other person doesn't exist. So there are three major bodies. So art and
Bodies,
culture,
yeah,
Tech Nation,
and the
and
research
res-
ones, yeah.
research ones. Yeah, we call all of them research ones because when you
Research.
start calling all the names. So in your coaching experience, have you seen the Global Talent Visa positively impact careers and lives of your clients, you think?
Oh yes, like oh yes, it's actually impacting my life to start with. So yeah, the biggest one I've seen is that peace of mind, that freedom that it brings. And what do I mean? The if you compare it to some other visa routes like the skilled worker visa, where you are tied to a sponsor. So once you have those kind of restrictions, like you're tied to a sponsor, and that means you are going to be limited. So for example, if you are working in a sector, or based on your skill set or your occupation code. For example, for persons who have multiple skills, like someone like myself,
Mm,
I'm in tech, but I also like things around education. I also like things about relocation. I have skills in research, and so multifaceted persons. So they're going to be limited to that occupation code on
mm,
the skilled worker kind of visa. So if you even want to
mm,
something in another sector, it's like you need to get another sponsor altogether.
mm,
So there's restriction around that. So that alone already ties a person
mm,
to that particular occupation code, that particular sector for that entire period. So
mm,
and the other thing is the fact that you also have a sponsor brings with it its own its own challenges as well. So imagine you are on a visa where you're depending on someone. Literally, if they press the button that says I'm laying you off, you that's it. Your visa will be curtailed and you have 60 days to leave the country. So just the thought of that, the psychology, persons who really on that path, imagine what they have to go through. And you have a family as well. So if that happens, you're thinking of what am I going to do with my
one
family?
chance, right?
you know so it's liberating, really. It's really liberating to
Mm,
have freedom. And another point as well is the fact that sponsored jobs as well are to get sponsored. There are companies that sponsor, but you might actually like a role. You really want to do particular work, but unfortunately, the company they aren't sponsoring. So that would limit you to certain limited subset of companies that would take you on and sponsor you as well. So these are some of the challenges. So the Global Talent Visa offers that freedom. We call it like a golden ticket. It's of my visa. Yeah, there are lots you already go through as a migrant. You're getting the environment, new culture, so many things are new, so many changes, and then you now have to add on top of that the thoughts around what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. So how has it impacted your own life?
Yeah. For me, I think one of the biggest impacts is also being able to support other persons. I remember someone that we worked with, and when she received her success, she was like, she called and was like, is this the I can't forget. Is this the email? Is this the email? Yeah, that's the email. So joy, that success email, it was like a dream come true. So the joy, the fact that you helping people realize their dreams, they have their family and they could just have that peace of mind that you see the next number of years to me getting to permanent residency. I don't have to worry about sponsor and all that. So that is, that's a lot. That's really a lot. To be a blessing to others. That's the way I see it. So that's like the biggest impact it's had on me for me. I know the challenges of being a migrant, right from coming over to the UK, right from even before I came to the UK, when I was trying to go abroad and I had rejections, visa rejections and all that. So, and just supporting other people, even if it's just one life, one per year, even just one life is a big deal.
So make sure you share this video so it can help Maryleen reach another life.
Yeah.
That success email is something, after you apply for the global, after all that stress, you're just waiting for one email. Just one email for the next stage.
How did you feel? So it's like that. Every email is like,
I'm telling you, I was just waiting. For me, it was my work email I used. So, oh my God, I'm so grateful to God I didn't have high blood pressure, because every email I kept on checking what date exactly, how long is it going to take? And when I saw that email, the day I saw it, I think I had a very long day. And then I just saw the email. I was about to leave. I went into the lab and then, I came back to the office to tidy up. And then I saw an email. I was like, oh God, who is this at the end of the day? And I opened it. You know what? I sat down. For like 30 minutes. And for me, then it was very crucial. Yeah, it was very crucial because I was, like I said, I was on a grant, which I thought I would use to apply, but the grant was ending. So that means I didn't have that 1 year left on the grant. They were going to extend the grant, but before they extend the grant, I needed a visa when the grant was going to be extended. Going through the peer review was not something I had planned. I thought, man, fast track, why not? I'm on a grant, the money is there and all that. So when that email came in, trust me, sis, I sat down like I just kulu temper. But yeah. How did you feel?
Yeah, it was a dream come true. It was similar to that. I think it had like 2 months to the expiration of my visa, and I was at that point where you have to make a transition. What next, and all that. So it was really, it was a dream come true. You couldn't stop giving glory to God,
Wow.
for even directing us along that path. Like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Which came first for you? Because you now you are double. Was it Australia or UK?
UK.
Oh my god. Tell us, were you even expecting the Australia one, or you were just like, I beg, I beg?
That Australian one was the one that it came with a rejection, and that's the thing. Like, you need to understand the fact that you got it. That's just like myself. The fact that I got it in the UK did not translate to
Mm.
getting it in Australia. So you need
Wow.
to understand the the nitty-gritties of
Mm.
each of the visa. So that was an eye opener that, okay, you don't just throw, oh, okay, I got it in this one,
Mm.
and then automatically I can also get it in this other one. You need to go by the rules, and make sure that you are abiding by their own rules, and shape your application in that way as well. So those are the things that has come from experience, and that's why we're also helping more persons to make sure they can
Yeah.
access those opportunities, and get more successes.
So, what advice do you have for individuals that are aspiring to apply for global talent visa in the UK?
Wow, I have a lot. But for those aspiring, like we earlier said, it's either maybe you are at the point where you have the profile ready, in which case it's about how do you tell your story, how do you put it all together. And when we're talking
Mm.
about putting it all together, at the initial start, like sometimes you discuss with person, and when it's always good to start from hearing their story. They tell you about their career journey, and I like to ask those questions because it really helps to understand where that person has come from, and that's
Mm.
where you realize that everybody's story is unique,
Yeah.
and these persons are passionate about what they do. So from that, it's
Mm.
not, you go even beyond looking at the LinkedIn profile and CV, just hearing what's been that person's motivation, what has brought them
Mm.
this far.
Mm.
Those are things you really can't see on the CV and LinkedIn. So just from that
Yeah.
point, you begin to appreciate their journey and start to work with them to carve out. It's like puzzle,
Yeah.
different, piece of that puzzle. You piece it together to create a picture that really makes sense and can communicate, that all aligns and ties together. Yeah. So then there are other set of persons who they are looking at, this is an aspiration for me. This, I'm not there yet. Yeah.
Mm.
So those ones as well. It's about showing them these are the things you can start doing early on to prepare yourself for
Mm.
that future. So you start now to count the cost. What's it going to take me
Mm.
to get there? There's just like in the scripture, it says that there's no man that starts to build a house that won't first count the cost. So if you know
Yeah.
that this is going to be a house you're going to
Yeah.
build, being a global talent, you need to count the cost and say, okay, here are the things I have to start doing. And some of those things can be
Mm.
hard work. All those things already
Mm.
align with what you're doing, but you need to keep doing it. Don't be discouraged and
Mhm.
say, I don't even know why I'm involving in this, because you'll be surprised that you should have continued in that thing and get it
Mm.
to the point where it matures to use that in the future. So yeah, just it's to really understand and start to map out, to have a roadmap
Wow.
towards um even if it's one thing I say is the global talents, um if you call it global talent visa, or the whole concept of global talent, sometimes it's even beyond getting the visa, because most of the things you are even doing towards that visa, if you check it, bring everything together, those things also add up to your career. So it's still beyond
Mm.
getting the visa. It's also about building your personal brand. It's about how you want to really take your career forward. Like most of the things that I was doing and I still do, they
Mm.
are beyond getting the global talent visa, because beyond global talent, I'm still doing those things. I'm still mentoring. I'm still
Mm.
getting involved in those initiatives. And the
Mhm.
good thing about global talent visa, it takes you, it's more like a reflection as well. It helps you take stock,
Yes.
and it helps you gauge yourself and see where you are and some of the things
Mm.
that you want to get to. Because you, even putting your profile together and your application, you might see that there are some things that are not there. You don't have it yet, and it opens your eyes possibilities. And you can even begin to, like, there's some things that open my eyes to. I'm like, okay, I don't have this. Yeah, but I can't have everything for my evidence. I'm going to focus on my strength. But these other things, maybe I'll start keeping an eye out for them. So maybe in 2 years, 3 years down the line, I might have them. Maybe not for global talent visa by then, or that kind of, or just to have it as, it's part of like my career roadmap. I add those things as well. So it's really, for me, it's a good exercise beyond getting the visa. It's a reflection exercise, also an exercise, planning exercise, and a strategy exercise.
Wow, I love that. It's not just another, I want to get a visa and stay in the UK kind of thing. And that's the mentality people must have. Like, global talent is so unique to every individual. And I love what you said about it. It really helps you to reflect, especially when you're writing that personal statement. You're like, oh, wow, in the next 10 years, what would I be doing? How would my research make me a promising leader or a promising talent that I am supposed to be? So are there any common mistakes you think people that are aspiring should avoid in the application process?
Yeah, common mistake is to put your application together in a way that there's no clarity. Model many things together. There are some rejections people have gotten, and the assessors are pointing to the fact that you just, for let me use an example. You're putting together evidence about your speaking engagement, and you bring in like six different speaking engagement, and just put everything together, and there is no context. You don't provide context. You don't provide explanation. It's not really clear. You put so many things together and they're modeled up, and you throw it out there. I remember these persons, they have so many applications to go through. So they don't want to, you don't want to give them homework. Like, that's as what's this about? This is not adding up, So I always say that one weak point in application, is like a bad egg in mixing that bad spoiled egg in the midst of the good one. It can dent the entire application. I know the way this application works. It's an AND function. Sorry, I'm using a technical term. So it's like, if you get one,
break it down.
Yes. Okay, let's say there are 3 sections. You get 1, 1, and 0. So 1 times 1 times 0 is what? 0.
0,
so you are rejected. So you have to get 1, 1, 1. That's the way it works. So that's why every section you need to be able to check every part. So it's not like you check this one and the other one is weak. So any one bad egg can spoil the entire crate of eggs. So that's how it works. So it's one that requires carefulness and making sure that every point is you strengthen every point. You don't have like try to strengthen the weak ones or eliminate them entirely, because those are the things that can dent the rest of the application. So those are a few tips.
Wow. So those are a few tips. So can you tell us how you can help applicants?
Yeah, it really starts with already for the digital technology, and also for the routes. There are communities where I just just give people advice. You have a look at the application. So those are some persons just start out with going to those platforms, and the online platform, free platforms that they can just check and ask questions. So it's a community and you have persons, volunteers on those platforms to just answer questions like that. So it's something I'm passionate about. So something I do. And then if you really want like a personalized support, like you start to have a look at my particular profile, and going on that journey of x-raying your profile and taking you through answering some specific questions about your situation, then that's where you would have to be going through a consultation, and a coaching program. So that's a different program. But we do have Glotail. We do have packages that suit different budget, and people at different stages of their application journey as well. So they can get like that personalized support, either with assessing their eligibility or having a strategy session to really map out my profile, arrange those evidence in a way they can then go away and start gathering all the evidence, or even thinking of who should be a good person, a good fit to recommend me, trying to assess their networks, get the right kind of recommenders who will be fit and who will be strong enough to recommend them, and then down to reviewing all their different drafts and helping in structuring and arranging the document. So it's a whole, like it's a factory, it's a process, it's a whole process down to, when they then put together the application. So whatever stage you are in, whether it's end to end, you want to start from, I don't really even know what to do, down to get to the point where, okay, I've submitted my application and I'm also even planning to relocate and I need support, post-relocation or post-application support. So it can be end to end, or it can meet you at your particular stages.
So we're going to be sharing the link to Global Tail in the description section, so you can reach out for whatever services of theirs you might want to use. So which other platform are you talking about where you give? Is it just normal LinkedIn?
Yeah, Facebook platforms. On LinkedIn, like on my LinkedIn as well, I do share updates. Recently, I shared updates about that the Home Office, they were looking to get another endorsing body for digital technology, and just having a chat around what the implications will be. So I keep a close eye on things that are going on in that space. And there's also a community on discourse for those in digital technology that they can go to ask questions and also get to see what other people ask about here. So for Australian, there's a Facebook community, or different Facebook communities, but they are popular ones. If you just search for Australian Global Talents, you could see communities, public communities to join and ask questions as well.
Awesome. So this is not something you can do alone.
Yeah.
Just reach out, go to Facebook, look for those communities, go to Discord, check out the community there as well, and connect with Maryleen on LinkedIn. I met her on LinkedIn. We have a mutual friend. We've never met until we actually chatted on LinkedIn, and she was so kind to book this time for this interview, and we are so grateful for it. Thank you for coming here to share your experience.
Thanks for reaching out.
So as we come to the end of this interview, we'd like you to share what advice you have for immigrants in the UK, for, say, global talent aspirants, for everyone. What would be your advice?
Yeah, for immigrants like us. Fellow immigrants. If it's in Igbo, they say fellow immigrants. Kwenu.
Kwenu.
Just hailing us. Yes. So being in a new environment, if it's information, you need to. Information really makes a difference. So many things that even till today we keep learning. We keep learning from fellow immigrants, from persons who have been here their entire life. So, and you don't stop learning as well. There are things that just having a conversation really becomes an eye opener. You keep learning. So be humble. Don't ever say, I've known it all. I've gotten there. As long as you're in a foreign land, there's things that you don't, even language wise, I still keep learning. There's so many things I don't know, the systems, everything. So just have an open mind. Have an open mind to learn, trusting God to lead on the journey. Yeah. So
And for global talent aspirants?
Yeah, global talent aspirants, like we said, don't feel intimidated by what you see out there. Everyone that's gotten to the point where maybe they got the visa, their needs, they started from somewhere. So they started from somewhere. So don't feel intimidated, because that's what puts a lot of persons off. Even if you are not eligible now, you can be eligible in the future. And like we said, it's not just about getting the visa, it's also about just thinking your career journey as well. Leads you to put yourself in the best possible light, to also build your personal brand and become successful down the line as a thought leader in your field. So when we talk about personal brand, it's really start, like you talk about LinkedIn. I'm not the typical content creator person, but I just start taking baby steps to build it from the scratch. And I'm still building, I'm still learning, I keep learning every day. Yeah. So that's the mindset that gets you eventually to where you be at that position to apply as well.
Wow. So, get it going. Just do it. Do it. If you are thinking about it, do it. And information is power. Like we've heard
Yep.
from Maryleen today. Like I always say, never walk alone. You might not be a Liverpool fan, but as an immigrant, you have to carry that on your head. You never walk alone, because one information might just put you to flight in this country and even beyond. So thank you so much, Maryleen. It's been a wonderful interview. We've had like 3 global talent visa recipients on this channel. So I think at some point we'll have to have a round table. We will have a round table. Yeah, so watch out this space. We're going to create a round table. I think that would be a live session where people can ask their questions. And yeah, so go follow Maryleen, get help where you need it. And I'll see you next time on Immigrant Voices and Victories. Stay connected, no limits. God bless you. Make sure you share this video. Like Maryleen said, she just needs one person in a year. So be that one person. Share this video to someone else. We hope that today you've been inspired by our wonderful coach here today. And so we're going to drop all the links in the description section. Thank you very much. And I'll
Thanks
see
for what
you
you
next
do,
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. No limits.
Bye.
God bless you.